This is the Couples Corner. The Couples Corner. This is the Couples Corner. With Team Evans. This is the Couples Corner. The Couples Corner.
The Couples Corner with Team Bevins of I Still Do Ministries every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is another episode, and today you will get some good information, some great nuggets, and some tools to strengthen your relationship. The Couples Corner with Team Bevins.
This is the Couples Corner.
Party people, how y'all feeling tonight? Welcome to the Couples Corner with Team Bevins. I am Marcus, and this is my wonderful wife,
Cherie.
And tonight, guys, we are getting in this conversation tonight. This is a good one. This is one that we need to talk about because we don't actually talk enough about it. It's a cliche. It gets used often, but we need to find out where the substance is with it. So after we pray, we're going to be talking about relationship goals. All right, let's pray. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to gather together in the Couples Corner. We thank you for every person who is with us tonight. We thank you for what you're going to share with us, what you're going to reveal to us, and what you're going to allow us to experience tonight. We thank you for the fellowship. We thank you for the insight that we will gain and how we will be better. Our relationships will be better and be stronger as a result of this Couples Corner, and we look forward to what you're going to do. We love you, we thank you, and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so many of you, especially if you are on social media or anything like that, you're probably seeing relationship goals as a hashtag pretty often, and that's something that we see a lot of, but the question is, what are we actually doing with it? What are our real relationship goals? One of the things that I noticed a lot of is that people are putting, hashtag relationship goals under some things that they see or under some people that they see. And although that might seem like it's cool, the real question is, are you really willing to do what it takes to get that? Because a lot of people are saying, that's a relationship goal or whatever, but do you only want the goal and you want it minus the process? Because, in some cases, what we're looking at is to a degree, finished product that we fell in love with and not the process to get to it. And it's kind of like you wanting to be with a millionaire, you wanting to be a millionaire, and you're looking at some millionaires and you're like, yeah, that's what I want to be. I'm gonna be a millionaire. But the process that it takes, the work ethic that it takes, the dedication, the commitment that it takes in order to get there, do you have that? You know what I mean? Are you ready to put that kind of work in, or are you looking for a handout? And you can't look for a handout in a relationship, because that relationship takes work. And, the reality is, in order for us to be successful in our relationships, we have to have some standards. We have to have some goals. We have to have some things that we are really looking for and that we want to accomplish. And then we can start to reach some of those goals that we are referring to. So tonight, that's what we're going to kind of talk about, because there's a lot of, I don't want to say useless, but there's a lot of slinging around of some terms and some things that we may say or, make mention of. But the reality is, are we actually willing to do what it takes to reach that goal? That's the real question. That's what we have to really put on the table and really consider, because if we are not going to actually consider that, then are we really doing a disservice to the statement, when we say that this is a relationship goal, or this is where we want to be, this is what we want to do, this is where we're trying to get to. All of those things matter. So for those of you who are tuned in through MIXXSTATION Radio, we thank you for joining us tonight, as well as for those of you who are on live with us on Facebook. We thank you all for joining us. And when you have a question or a comment, feel free to call in. The number is 1-855-493-6499. Again, that's 1-855-493-6499. With your questions and your comments, because we do want to hear from you with some of the relationship goals that you have, or some of the things that you have been looking at and have made a relationship goal, so that we can really kind of get into this conversation and really pull out some things that we all can walk away from this better because of. So one of the first things that I do want to ask is, when you use that term of relationship goal, what do you mean by that? What's your angle? And again, I made reference to it in the beginning. Do you look at people's results without looking at their process? Mm-hmm. That's what we really have to, we really have to look at that. Are we really looking at the result and not the process? And are we willing to do what it takes to get to that? You know what I'm saying? It's a mandatory thing. So let's jump into it. What's your relationship goal, and how you plan to get there? That's the first thing. How you plan to get there. I'll say for us, we've had tons of goals that we have set and things that we've done. We've put some time frames on them. We've done some years, like a 5-year plan, where we want to be or what we want to try to do, things we want to obtain, places we want to be within our relationship, just different perspectives. And then we try to stay on that, and try to kind of check up and see where we are, what we didn't do, if we did more than what we thought we were going to do, all of that. But do we actually have a vision, for our relationship? Do we have a vision? Do we have any type of goals, or are we just living life and going? We just, doing whatever. That's something to consider. So let's jump in here first with some of the comments that we have, and then we'll get into one of our first points of topic tonight. Someone said, I don't recall ever using that hashtag because I realize what I see on the surface is nothing like the iceberg underneath. Very good. And that's the truth. A lot of people say that. They look at different people, they look at different things, and they like, oh yeah, this, I want to do that, or I want to be here, I want to do all of that. And the question is, do you really? We've said it many of times, not that we are all that, because we don't carry it like we all that, because we know we're not all that. But people say stuff about Team Bevins or what have you, and we like, could you endure what Team Bevins has endured? Could you go through what Team Bevins has gone through? Could you stand through the storms that we've gone through? So when you say that's a relationship goal, I don't know if you want to say relationship goal. You might want to say that's an outcome. That's a place that I want to end up. But if you had to retract our relationship and walk the steps that we've walked and experience the things that we've experienced, taking the losses that we've taken and all of that to get to a place where you can be comfortable enough within yourself and within your relationship to be able to help someone else. You know what I'm saying? And that's really where we are, and that's what we do. We do this not because of anything other than hopefully to prevent someone else from experiencing the things that we've experienced, from failing in areas that we've already failed in, or, to teach some lessons so your lesson doesn't have to be as painful as ours was. But at the end of the day, for someone to say that it's a relationship goal, that sounds good on the surface, but the real deal is, could you really handle it if you had to walk a week in the shoes of Team Bevins? If you had to deal with the responsibilities that we have to deal with, and not just us, but any person or any situation that you're saying is a relationship goal. A lot of people look at people who have longevity in their relationship, sometimes as parents or grandparents or just different aspect of relationships, and they're like, yeah, that's how I want to be. I want to be like them, or I want to be like them. And you may not want to say that. You may just want to say, I want the success that they have. I want to reach the goal that they reach, but I don't want to be like them, because most people aren't actually sitting down and telling you the story. They aren't giving you the backstory to what it took to get to that place and to be who they are at that particular point. So those are some key points that we really have to consider and look at. So you'll read a couple of the comments.
My main relationship goal is communication. We are right years in and still learning. 8 years, sorry. 8 years in and still learning. And you're going to continue to learn.
Got that right.
I'm sure. Because you're going to continue to mature prayerfully. Right. And as you mature, you're going to communicate differently. My writing mentor writes with so much depth and passion, but she went through a lot of hard things to get there. People just see the writing but have no idea what she went through to produce like that. That's true. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think a lot of people see when they say, relationship goals. They see the goal, but they see the outcome, but just not the failures. And so when you say that's your relationship goal, are you willing to accept the failures that came along with getting that goal? Or you willing to, deal with the whole process to get to that goal? And even if it's not a relationship, even if it's the goals that you write down for your own relationship, a lot of times we write goals for ourselves, mm-hmm. and we don't write goals for our relationship, for us as a couple. And even if you write goals as a couple, you have to follow through with it. You have to make a plan. You have to go through the process. And when one step of the plan during your process doesn't work, you have to go back and rewrite the plan and go through that process. Right. And so always, it's not always a smooth journey to your goal. So when you sit down and write your goals, keep in mind that along with this will be some trials, will be some tribulations, will be we got to go back and do this again. We got to start this over. We got to we got to redo this plan. We thought it was going to be easy this way, and it's not. And so, because it's two people, it's not going to be as easy as your goal for yourself.
Right.
So, my goal might have been, I'm going to go to school for 4 years and I'm going to become a nurse. But, even in those 4 years, I might have had to revamp some things, change some things, because life was happening. But it's different when you have two people that you have to come and sit down with. But I think that every relationship should have goals. And I think that there should be a time limit set to them, and that you should revisit. On Wednesday mornings, there's a friend of ours, and he gets on here sometimes. Maybe he's on here tonight, Richard McLaren. Mm-hmm. And he talks a lot about goals, a lot about planning. And if y'all can listen on Wednesday mornings, it's great. He talks a lot about writing things down and going back and checking. A lot of people are like, wow, I don't go back and check. You need to go back and check every so often to see how, as a couple, are you meeting this goal? Are we meeting, or where are we in what we said we wanted? Some things are going to be years. Some things are for the year. You might say 2019, we wanted to accomplish this by June, or this by December of 2019. But some things, there will be, this is going to take 3 or 4 years to accomplish, but you still need to know along your journey where you are. And then, then you can really say relationship goals. Right. Right. Accomplish. This is my own relationship goal, because a lot of times I see that on, and listen, hey, if you type it, whatever. But, it's just interesting because I see it on a lot of successful things, or a lot of couples. Let's take, what's the guy's name that just passed away? Nipsey. What's her name? And what's his wife? Oh, girlfriend, whatever. Okay, y'all know Lauren.
London.
Yes. So let's take those two, and everybody. I'm just using that because everybody apparently knows who they are. maybe I didn't until this happened, but everybody apparently knows who they are because it's been all over the place. So, but do you want her relationship goal now? Do you want to go through the grief, the mourning to get, but because everybody, they was together, they was smiling, shining, everything's good. But whatever she's going through now, do you want that? Right. That's a part of her relationship. Yeah. So we just have to be careful, and we all, of course, we only saw what they presented to us. Nobody was in the house with them and saw whatever. Right. So and success is nice, and you can have success, but you will have to work that thing yourself, you and your spouse. And even to my favorite people out here, my favorite people who are the engaged people, the engaged people, y'all are my favorite people. Y'all can have goals too. Being engaged, you can have goals, and maybe right then you might see, whoa, wait a minute, you want something that I'm not, wait a minute, that's, and that's time to talk and to decide and to figure out what you want to do with your relationship and what you want to do when you get married. That first goal should be that wedding date. How y'all gonna get there? Right. So I said that last time. Like somebody must need to set that wedding date, because I just said that twice. So y'all come and talk to us about your goals. We wanna hear if you were successful, if you weren't successful. Call in and let us know. You're gonna help somebody. Every week we come on here to spark out conversation. We're not your counselors. We're not your leaders, but we do come to spark up conversation and to have something for you to talk about with your spouse and to think about, and hopefully to better your relationship. So if you have a comment, please call 1-855-493-6499. If you're with us on Facebook, you can type your comments. We will read them. If you have a question, we will answer them if we can, and if we cannot, we will direct you to someone who can. Because I think it's important. This is important to make sure that you have goals. You might want to have a goal book, like just a book that you pull out. Y'all have, a night every couple of months, and you see where you are with certain goals. Have short-term goals and have long-term goals, and really have a goal. Really not just, and have a plan to it. I want to make $1 million in 5 years. Well, how are you going to do that? Let's first start with getting a business, getting a job, something. That's not going to fall out the sky. $1 million is not going to fall out the sky. So you may have to start with the little small things that you can achieve, and make sure that the things that you're writing, you can achieve them. Small attainable goals. I got some more stuff to read. With or without the kids. You're saying that was when he was talking? Yeah,
when I think when I was talking about initially starting out about the goals. But yeah, I think the question was with or without the kids, reaching the goals.
The question?
I think it was a statement connected
that with or without the kids. Okay. Right. It's no such thing as failure when you continue to take forward steps. True, if you get up and can take forward steps. Some people think they're going to write their goals and they're going to go straight through it. Right. They really don't understand that this thing is a process. You are going to stumble, and you're going to have to get up and keep it moving. So when we continue to take forward steps, you're right. We won't. We are not failures, but there are some people who don't understand that this is getting to a goal is a process, and the process may be longer than what you thought sometimes. Right. I thought I was going to be a nurse in 4 years. It took me a little bit longer than that, but I'm one. Amen. And if I wouldn't have told y'all that, y'all wouldn't know. Right. So, it's just, it's a process. And the problem I think sometimes is that we have to only show our successes because when we're vulnerable, or when we say, if Marcus and I told our whole story to y'all, if we came on here one night, we couldn't tell our whole story in a year. It couldn't be a night. I mean, in an hour. I said in a year. In a year, take us a year. Take us a year. We couldn't tell our whole story in our hour show. But if we came on here and we just started telling the real deal, the real pieces of our life, of our marriage, first of all, people wouldn't be able to handle it. But second of all, it would be so much backlash to it instead of understanding that we're trying to show you that through the process you can still make it.
Right.
You can still make it. So, you know, this young lady, Steph Curry's wife, posted something, and I don't even know what it is, but I do know that she was being honest and vulnerable, and some of the stuff I've seen is just ridiculous. Like, that was her, that was what she felt, right. And this is what she posted. And so this is, I think, a problem in sometimes even reaching the goal, or sometimes even getting help to your goal, because people are nervous to be open and honest with you. Right. You know, they can't always just say, like, listen, I'm not just telling you this because it fell out the sky or God gave it to me, but also because I walked this thing and I did this, so right. I know it's possible. So and that was a hard lesson for me to learn. But next comment, I think a goal book is a great idea. We'll implement that. Oh, praise God. I think we need to have like a goal book, and then you go back and you're able to check things off, scratch them out, start over, whatever, or say, yeah, we're on our way. You know, there was one time when we had our paper and we were like, wow, we have hit right. most of these goals, you know, and it was good. It was a good feeling. Right. But you have to, and also when you're doing this together, you can remind each other, you know, and if your spouse is saying, hey, do you really need to buy those shoes, or hey, do you really need to purchase this now, you know, then they're trying to just help you get to the goal that y'all have set. Right. It's not always about nagging or about they don't want you to get anything, you know. You know, we had that a little while ago about spending money, but we're not gonna go back there, because I'm not gonna, you know, go back there, because I proved my point. But I'll tell y'all about that later. So, because I got a good Mother's Day gift. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. And you know, that's good. And fathers, y'all not mothers, just like mothers, y'all not fathers. So, only a mother can be a mother. That's the truth. So, but I got a really good Mother's Day gift, so I'm not going to talk about that. So, but yeah, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic about this gift. Listen, here, y'all gonna know. Send it up for the moon. Y'all gonna know. So, when you set your goals, you know, just go back, review it, you know, talk to each other about it, and you have to write it down. You said, a comment says that we don't have anything written down. You have to write it down, because one will say, no, we said this by this date. The other will right. say, no, we said this by this date. And if they're me, I'm never going to say, like, you're right, because I feel like I can remember everything that was said and every date that it was said. So, you know, then you have this whole miscommunication going back and forth. So, yes, write it down. Write your goals down. Right. Look at the paper, baby. And then read the paper. You know, that's like putting something in your calendar. You know, people like, put it in your calendar, Sheree. I'm like, that's great. But if I never read my calendar, right, how will I know where I'm supposed to be? So, you know, set a point to, you know, put a note somewhere. On such and such day, we're going to review our goals. You know, put sticky pads in your room or whatever, somewhere where other people aren't. Right. We're only in your bathroom or in your bedroom. Put that up. So yes, every week. So put that up so you can be reminded to go back and look at your goals, because it's important, because then you'll get so far and you'll be like, what have we accomplished? And I know that Team Bevins, we've told y'all that every anniversary you should be leading up to your anniversary. I'm not going to say on your anniversary, because it may make for a bad one. Leading up to your anniversary, you should be saying, what have we accomplished? Yeah, evaluating. My favorite people. Leading up to your year that you, because I know y'all still be celebrating, like, y'all, you know, I did it too. Like, oh, we've been together 2 years. So my favorite people, engaged people, and leading up to your year, or whenever you met, or whenever you got engaged, you should be saying, what have we accomplished this year towards the goals of being one, or whatever it is that you know, plan to do. But definitely spouse, husband and wife, you should be saying, what have we accomplished this year? Did we meet our goals? You know, what have we accomplished in our marriage? What have we accomplished that we said we were going to do? Right. You know, you have to put it down and commit to it. commit to it. Commit to doing it. Commit to what you put on the paper, not just, oh, I'm going to do this because she want to have this meeting or he want to have this meeting. Commit to doing it, and I promise you that later you'll be like, wow, we've accomplished so much. Right. Small things are big.
Yeah.
You know, when you look back on them and say, wow, we've accomplished so much. Even if it's just paying your mortgage or rent on time for 6 months, that's an accomplishment for some people.
Amen.
Right.
That's an accomplishment for somebody who does not pay bills on time.
It is.
That's an accomplishment.
Amen.
Like, so, you know, you need to continue to hey, Team Wilson, you need to continue to write it down, look at it. Y'all call in, talk to us, tell us what are some goals that you're trying to set or you've accomplished, and maybe some of the things that you know how you got there, or you know some of the things you shouldn't do, so that you know somebody can get one step ahead, because right. People need help, and we're helping people, and you know, you can call in at 1-855-493-6499, or you can type on Facebook if you're with us on social media. But this is very important. Hashtag relationship goals. So when you do that, you can hashtag yourself. You know, you can hashtag yourself. We have some friends that just graduated together. Right. And they can hashtag themselves. Like, they both graduated from college together. Not, you know, not they. I don't think it was both of their first time. I think it's masters or something like that. But they can hashtag themselves because they have children, they work, they have businesses, and they managed to do online programs. Maybe went to the school, but I think they were online programs, and they graduated at the same time. So they have pictures together. Hashtag goals. Now that is relationship goals right there. Y'all went through. Now y'all supposed to work in whatever career or whatever, or further it, whatever you got your master's or bachelor's in, and that's a goal. That's something real deal. But if they are able to tell their story about how they went through this and what was going on in the process, you know, the pictures look nice. I was like, oh, that's nice. See, I told you we can graduate together. That look real nice. But what is their process? What was their process to it? You know, sometimes I wish we would just put our process on. I said this before. These business owners, these bosses, I'm a boss, I'm this, I'm that. I wish you would put your process on here. Don't show me your cars you bought. Don't show me, you know, your pocketbooks you bought. Show me your process. Yeah. Show me your process, so then I can really say, like, oh, is this what I want to do, or oh, this is how you obtain a goal. And then some of these young kids will not think, and some of our children will not think that we can just say it and get it. Right. I used to be that child, and sorry, I don't know if any of y'all, but I thought that I could just say, I want a Lamborghini with the doors that open upward. So my father said, you can have it. But he didn't. He failed to say that if you work real hard and you save your money,
so he left that part
then
out.
You can get it. Because I thought that you just go and you just get it. Right. I was young. I didn't know. So I thought, like, all right, I can have it. That's what I want. I can have it. Just go and get it. And, you know, sometimes as adults, we live like that. We like, oh, yeah, that's what they did. And then you get in it and you want to quit. And let me tell you something. We're not quitting. We are not quitters. Right. Okay? Anybody listening on MIXXSTATION Live Radio or looking at us on Facebook, we are not quitters. We do not quit. So when you write them goals down, I don't care how hard they get. You hang in there and you do it until you're finished. Because if you're not a finisher, it will be hard to even have a relationship. Yeah. It will be hard to even to get along in your relationship. We do not quit. If communication is what you're working on, you don't quit. You don't quit. You continue to move forward. Quitters never prosper.
Who said that?
I want a t-shirt. That was a t-shirt, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a t-shirt.
All right.
You better do it.
I dig it. So let's bring another part to the equation, and you know, my question for all of the people, all of the couples, what are you going to do when your kids are gone? Because that's an area that most people in relationships don't plan for. You know, they don't plan for it because a lot of people have made their children their marriage.
Wow.
And you've got distance in your actual relationship because all of your focus is on your children. And what's going to happen when your children leave? Because you do know they're going to either go to college, get a job, get their own place, move out, something to that effect. At least I'm sure that's your hope. But when they're gone, what are you guys going to have? You know, what's going to be the status of your relationship? And what will you guys, you know, really be able to kind of live off of and build and produce? Because if you don't have a plan for that, if you don't have a goal for when your kids are gone, you know, when you become those empty nesters and in the work of raising children and, you know, all of that takes that becomes available, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I've seen so many relationships actually break up after they did all the hard work.
Wow.
They did all the hard work of making the relationship work while building a family, while raising the kids. Kids turn out good. You know, they're pretty stable. They go to college or get a career, move out, and then the relationship falls apart because in the building process, they forgot to build them. They never had a vision for them after they had kids. And that's something that, you know, we fail in relationship. We start out in love with just the two of us. And as a result of that love, the family grows, you know, it multiplies. But if you don't keep that fire burning, then your whole focus will go to the children. And you'll be all concerned about what they're doing and all of that. And then when the kids are gone, then what will you have? You know, I've seen so many relationships actually break up because of children, because they can't focus on the relationship. They only focused on their kids, you know, and as a result of it, you end up losing your relationship. And then your kids leave and then you stuck with nothing because your kids gone, because now they didn't got their own relationship. They've built their life. They've built their career and they're gone living life. And you lost yours pretty much trying to secure theirs. You know, it's almost like what they tell you when you're on the airplane. You know, you have to put this oxygen on your nose over your mouth for you to survive, to be able to help somebody else. And, you know, for some reason, that order and structure of how the family is supposed to be actually done gets lost in the sauce. Because if it comes down to, as a man, as a husband, if it comes down to you, you know, if you had to save one person and it was either your child or your wife, you're supposed to save your wife. Because you can make another child, but you and your child can't make another wife. Now, of course, you know, that ain't the concept for, you know, for the people to be lost and all of that. But when we don't have the right perspective and we're not looking at it properly, then we won't do the right things and we'll mismanage the moment. And there are a lot of moments that we've mismanaged. There are a lot of opportunities and times that we've had within our relationships that we've mismanaged, you know. And the question, you know, the question is on the table. What are we going to do when our children are gone? Because we can go hard in the paint for the kids, but it ain't as many people going hard in the paint for their marriage.
Hello.
And if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a plan for what you guys are going to be and what you're going to do when your children are gone, you can get to that point and be coming right off the celebration of everything that they've accomplished and lose y'all. And that's not the goal, you know. That's really not the goal. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that we really have to consider, you know. And in some instances, you know, the thing that I've learned is you really don't know what you don't know. So if these are things that in your natural self you don't think about, somebody has to point them out. And if you're not around people who will point those things out to you, you'll stay stuck in that same place of not thinking about it. You know, if you're the smartest person in your circle, then you're in the wrong circle.
Definitely.
Amen.
You know, you're in the wrong circle. You know, and if and it's kind of hard because if your circle is the same circle that everybody in the circle got, then y'all ain't going nowhere. If it's only the four of y'all, you know, you got three people that complete your circle, and those other three people have the same, you know, people in their circle. You guys aren't going anywhere. Because who's getting fed something that they can bring back to the group that can better the group? You know, who's getting some insight that they can bring back that can, better the situation. And so, sometimes we get stuck with unnecessary loyalty because there's a history. So, these are all kinds of things that we got to consider and take into account, because in order for us to be successful, truthfully, and to have longevity in our relationships, we have to be willing and able to evolve. And if you as an individual are not evolving and your relationship is not evolving, then you're going to be, 12 and 15 and 18 years into a relationship that's still in the second year, because nobody's growing. Nobody's getting better. Nobody's evolving. And you're going in circles, but you're still together, And so the object is for us to grow. The object is for us to be better. The object is for it to be forward progress, And so what kind of goals do we have for when the children are gone? Doesn't matter if you only got, 2 more months before they off to college, or they going into service, or they get married or whatever. Or it could be that you have an infant. The time isn't the factor, it's the plan. Because if you don't have the plan, if you don't have the vision for it, it doesn't matter if you're starting 6 months or 16 years. If there's no vision, you're still going to be in the same place. So, we've got to look at that. We really have to look at that. Let's go to some of the comments.
What's the best way for husband and wife to partner in business if they both have separate business visions?
That's a really good question. It's almost like, the concept of, if you want to confuse someone, give them too much. If you want to confuse a man's vision, give him too many, because he can't focus properly on them. And now the reality is this: if the both of you are going to have businesses in your relationship, the question is, will you actually be partnering with both, or will both of you just be doing your own thing?
Are you waiting for them to answer?
No. Oh. I'm saying because it's not directly to, to the person asking the question. It's in general, that they're asking on behalf of America. And so, like
partnering with both. So they're two different businesses.
No. I mean, I get it with the two different businesses, but I'm saying, like, although it's two different businesses, are both parties putting forth 100% in both businesses? Or is one just putting 100% in one business and the other is putting 100% in the other? Because it's kind of hard to put, you only have 100%. So it's kind of hard to put 100% in two places. You know what I mean? So the partnership is important, but it ultimately comes down to role play. If role play is established and people, have a part to play and they're playing their part, then, it can work. But in a situation like that, that is extremely delicate and requires an extensive level of communication, because to effectively build in two different places as well as maintain the relationship, and if there's any other components to the equation within the family, children, or any of those type of obligations, then all of that, becomes a part of the scenario. So that's definitely something that the communication has to be on point, and they have to be in agreement completely, because if not, then it's easy for you to feel like somebody's trying to hold you back from what your vision is.
So you have to prioritize.
Right.
You have to prioritize. So you do have to have a lot of communication, because you have to sit down and talk about what the steps or the timing for each business, maybe to get it started, to see a return on it, which we know businesses don't have a return like that. I don't think that unless you're really, really good, you can do it simultaneously. So somebody will maybe possibly have to wait on starting, or wait on furthering the business, because you need to prioritize and see what you can handle in your relationship at this time, and then what you can, when can you add, or can you possibly do them together. But you have to have a great amount of communication for that, because it won't be successful if you don't communicate, or effectively communicate, let me say that, about it. But somebody has to be willing to not to take the low road for a second, just to get one business up and running, and then begin to start the other one.
Right. And that's good, because again, with that, you're talking about scheduling, operating hours within the business, and proper planning, and all of the steps that have to be taken. Right.
Money.
Because starting a business requires money, and to have startup money for two businesses as well as maintain life can be, straining and pressing. So all of that, that's why the communication is very important. The Bible says to write the vision and make it plain, but it also says to make sure that you count the costs.
Yes.
All of that is important, so that you don't run into a situation, or you jump in with both feet and then realize I'm getting a little deep into this, and now we need to swim back to shore. But both of us out here, so it's nobody to grab to, bring back to shore.
What if we can you ready?
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if we can partner with the vision of one but have difficulties partnering with the other?
Then that's exactly what you're gonna have, the difficulty, because both parties have to buy into both, and that's the part of what we were saying about the hardship in it. Because if both parties don't buy into both, then you're talking about a whole nother situation that becomes that much more difficult. Because not only does it stop the business, but it can bring resentment. It can make one begin to hate the other, because not the person, but the vision. Because how is this vision getting attention and this one isn't? And that's generally going to be the person who's the visionary for the one that's getting the lack. Or it could potentially make that person stop producing as much as they were producing on the other vision, because theirs isn't getting the type of participation that they desire. So you have a lot of components that could go into that, but that's why the strategy is important for starting a business, and really considering how to do it. The first question that I would ask is, if this is the first time that both parties are starting a business, then I would not recommend doing two businesses at the same time, because it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. You don't fully know everything that you are doing to try to do it in two different places at the same time. So it will probably make, in a sense of wisdom, to focus everything on one, to make it a template that brings success, and then use the template on the second, because you'll be able to accomplish the second one a little easier and a little faster, because some of the wrong turns that you took with the first, some of the unnecessary steps that you took with the first, you'll know how to avoid those things and to get it done with more efficiency with the second. But doing it simultaneously can add to your stress level, all kinds of things. So it's just something to consider.
How do we sorry y'all, I'm a little sleepy. How do we come to a conclusion if we don't agree or move collectively?
How can two walk together unless they agree? You really can't move. Because if you're not agreeing, then if you move, you're not moving in agreement. You're just moving.
If we don't agree to move collectively.
Right.
All right. You need to pray for clarity. That's what I would say. You need to pray individually and together for clarity, so that you can agree and then move. What you can't do is move
right
without agreeing. And so I think you need to pray for clarity, and you need to wait. We need to wait. We need to not be so anxious with the things that we want to do. This is my problem. So I'm talking to myself. I get an idea. It's like, boom, I'm about to do this. It's going to work. And then it's wrong. And then if Marcus says, hey, well, what you gonna do here, what you gonna do there, I don't want to answer all those questions, because in my mind I just see it working. I don't really want to answer all the questions. I ain't even pray yet. I didn't even figure out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
None of this stuff out.
It's the zeal.
So now I'm in the process of something, trying to backpedal in the middle, you know, trying to go back and say, okay, well, I should have started this way, I should do this, or I should have told them like this, I should have advertised like this, I should have. So yeah, I think you have to pray for clarity, and you have to move when it's clear and you can agree. And do I think it's possible? Yes, I do. I don't know the business idea. I'm not asking you to put up there, but I'm just saying, I just think that sometimes we have to wait. We have to do it in order. And so you have to pray for clarity. And then when you can agree, when you can communicate and agree, then you can move forward.
Right. That's definitely, you know, the key. I don't think that anything is impossible. It's the level and degree of difficulty that we want to, you know, put with it. So that's the part that I would, you know, that I would add to that. So, you know, she gave you some great stuff to look at and consider and to do. And I would definitely start there. Hope that helped you guys a little. So, you know, in that too, another one that we need to consider as well is, do you plan vacations? You know, on two different spectrums. Do you plan them for the family and for the couple, or do you only plan them for the family, or do you only plan them for the couple? You know, because these all kind of fall under goals. You know, and having a plan and being able to execute the plan. I think that in relationships sometimes one of our, for lack of a better term, in using the word failure or hindrances, you know, that we have is not planning properly. And so when we don't plan properly, we can end up missing out on some things. Like, you know, let's say you wanted to buy a car. You know, you like, we need to get another car or whatever the case, you know, cool. But if you don't plan properly, you can go to the wrong place to get the same car that you could have gotten somewhere else a lot cheaper with, you know, different lender or with a different interest rate, or, you know, at a different cost or what have you. So that planning is important. And if you don't do the proper planning, then, you know the phrase, if you plan to fail, then you fail. I mean, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Like, what?
Yeah, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So, you know, that planning process is important, and sometimes we don't do a good job on that. And sometimes we don't do a good job not because we didn't plan. Some people plan well but communicate bad. So you did plan, but the plan is in your head and you didn't communicate it with, you know, your partner. Some people just don't plan well, but if you give them a plan, they will execute the mess out of it, because they aren't a planner, they're a doer. You know what I mean? You got to know who you're with, and you guys have to be able to pull out the best parts of each other. And that's, you know, that's something that is beneficial to your relationship. But, you know, as far as your you know, the two things that I learned we struggle with, and it helps with our longevity, and that deals with us vacationing, and that deals with us getting massages, treating our stress levels, treating, you know, our body and treating our minds from our day-to-day rigorous activities. We don't do that well, and then we're trying to figure out why we've ran down, because we aren't properly taking care of ourselves. We aren't properly taking breaks for mental health, for, you know, taking breaks to, you know, relax and to release and to rejuvenate, so that we can come back and this is the reality. Everybody benefits from you having a vacation. Listen, for years I did not vacation, not because we couldn't, it just wasn't a priority to me, because my priority was I need to work. The family was ready to take them, and I was like, I gotta work, you know. and my mentality was we're gonna spend money that I could be making. So, for a long time, my family did not take vacations because I was a workaholic, going to work, and and this is the thing, my intentions were good because I was so dedicated to making sure that we didn't go without. But at the same token, we were going without because we were going without vacation. They were going without me because I was so focused on making sure we didn't go without. And so, that can be detrimental to the relationship. That can be detrimental to you as an individual, your personal health, your personal place, mentally, physically, all of that. I wasn't getting massages, things like that. It would be like once every blue moon, and it would be like a real faint blue. So it would be some years in between time of doing that. But later I learned the importance and the value of it, how that adds years to your life, how that that produces, you end up producing a better quality. And when I said everybody wins, your job wins, because when you take that break, you're coming back refreshed, you're coming back rejuvenated, you're coming back with less stress, so you're going to produce better. Your family wins because they get that uninterrupted time with you. Your spouse wins because they get to have their uninterrupted time with you. So everybody wins in that scenario. And if you plan properly, it doesn't have to hurt your pocket. So, some of us are not, taking vacations. Some of us are not doing the things to rejuvenate ourselves and all of that. And your vacation doesn't necessarily have to be, some elaborate, exaggerate thing that you're doing. It could be a staycation. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's about you taking some time to regroup, to relax, to rejuvenate, to release, so that you can go back, full throttle, ready to roll.
Like I asked last time we were on we asked about your dream vacation, and I just wonder how many people are planning towards that. Is that a goal? Like, if that's your dream vacation, write that down. That's your relationship, one of your relationship goals. Whatever your dream amount to have in your bank account is a goal. And listen, that's nothing but doing it.
Yep. Planning.
That amount in your bank account comes down to doing it. Like, planning it, writing a goal, what you want to have, planning it, how you're going to do it, and actually doing it. So in the beginning of the year, we have these, put $5, put $3, put $15, and everybody is posting, this is what I'm about to do. But as soon as the sale come, as soon as the holiday come, it's out the door.
Right.
You have to do it. Just say, this is what I'm doing, and at the end you will see the fruit of it. Right. But you won't see the fruit if you don't follow the plan.
True.
And then you have to communicate, and you have to help each other, because you will not see the fruit of that, and that is very attainable. There are many things financially that we can attain, but we think we can't because we are so busy saying, or doing other things, like buying lunch every day, buying breakfast every day, buying a coffee every day. If whoever out there buys coffee from a very well-known place every day, you need to add up that $10 you spending, or $8 or whatever, and figure out what you can purchase with this. If you just get a Keurig at your house and do it at your house.
Right.
How much money would you spend at your house? Would you spend buying it and doing it at your house versus purchasing it every day? And there are some everydayers out here.
Yeah.
So, their goals are attainable. There are goals, those business goals you can attain, but you have to sit down and talk about them. You have to write it, and then, and you have to go through with it. Like I said, you have to go through with it. And so for my favorite people, my engaged people, my favorite people, if and this, the comment about business was very good, because when you're engaged, if you have some ideas, you need to be telling your fiance now,
right,
listen, I want to own a trucking company, this, that, and the third, because they might not be with that. And that's something you need to talk about. Don't automatically think because you are married that your spouse is going to agree with everything you say and do, because I can tell you, y'all, I give y'all real life situations that he is not, or she is not gonna agree with everything, or like, oh yeah, that's great, do it. No, it's gonna be some questions, some how much money how much we gotta put up for this, how much time is this gonna take away from us, how long before you think it's gonna be successful,
Right.
a lot of things that you may not want to answer, because I don't like to answer questions. If I said I'm gonna do it, I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna do it. Don't ask me any questions about it. But that's not how it works in Team Bevins. I would like for it to. I'll be like, I can just do this, So relationship goals, hashtag relationship goals. When we see that, or when we're typing that, we should be typing it from ourselves.
Right.
We should be relationship goals ourselves. This is our actual goal we accomplish, not something that we see somebody done the success and don't know their process.
Right.
And again, you type what you want, you type what you want, you do what you want. We just want to, you to think about it, to spark some, jog your conversation, so that you will be saying, yeah, really, what are our goals? What do you want out of your relationship? Not just to have children and raise them. What else is there? And this is from us. We have 6 children, but what else is there? Because I promise you, what Marcus said is the truth. Because our 22-year-old ain't thinking about us. Our 18-year-old ain't thinking about us.
Right.
They gone on with their life.
Enjoying it.
And then we're what? Sitting around, can't communicate, don't have any goals for the future, don't have any goals for what you want to do when you retire or whatever. So you need to really be doing, what do you want? What do you want out of your relationship? What do you want? What do you want to do? Is it something that you wanted to do last year that you didn't do? Why aren't you working towards it this year?
Right.
Relationship goals, but know that those goals come with a process.
Yep.
They come with planning. They come with conversations. They come with, don't think because these people are stars, or because, and it's not even always stars,
Right.
People have put relationship goals on ours. I have friends, I see people putting relationship goals under their stuff, and I'm like, what's the process to this goal?
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe it wouldn't be a goal for you. And your process won't be the same always, but there will be a process.
Right.
That's one promise I can make you. There will be a process.
Definitely.
So, people see the smiling pictures, and, and I have a friend who always say, people can be whoever they want to be on social media.
Yep.
They can make up a whole life. And when you find out their real life, you're like, what in the world? I've been following you. I've been putting relationship goals. And this is not even the truth.
Right.
But if that's what you see and that's what you want to attain, sit down with your spouse. How do we get this? I just saw somebody post a mansion. How do we get that mansion? Because they weren't born in it. Nobody left it to them. How do we get it? If that's what you want. How do we, listen, a relationship goal for me is to be like 90 some years old, still married and healthy. Like when you see, I'm a home care nurse, so I go in a lot of people's houses. When I go in a house and I see a couple that is healthy, or that, I might be there because they had a surgery or something, but they've been together for 60, 70 years or something like that, and they just is happy and smiling, and because I see some things when I go to people's houses. I see the real deal. If they don't like each other, they don't like each other while I'm there. They don't care. They don't care if you're the nurse. They don't care if you're physical therapist. They don't care. I don't know why I marry him. I don't know why I'm taking care of him. People have said that.
Right.
So when I see that, this is, that's a goal for me. Like, how did you keep your health up? Like, what did you do and what didn't you do?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't eat that, and I don't do that, and I don't do that, and I do this, and I drink 1 glass of wine a day. Can I do that? So, you hear whatever people say, but that's a goal for me. What's the process to that? Denying myself of some of this junk and garbage that I'm putting in my body. But do I really want that process?
Right.
To that goal. Forget the car. Anybody can get a car, y'all. Anybody can get any type of car they want. Now, how long you gonna have it in good condition might be something else.
Right.
Because can you pay for the maintenance?
Mm-hmm.
And can you pay the payments?
Right.
But you probably can go right now and get the car, one of the cars you want.
Somebody will work with you.
Definitely. So, we have come to the end of our show. And this might be a part 2.
Thank you.
But we just want y'all to think about your goals, write a plan, go through the process, and get the result. Have a great night, y'all. Pray for us, and we will definitely be praying for you. And that's just not a slogan. We do that. So, that's not a hashtag.
Right.
So, y'all have a good night.
And now we've got to go, but we look forward to connecting with you again here on the Couples Corner with Team Better.
This is the couples corner.